Hello, I'm the Warmest Robot, and this is Robot Wars. Instead of robots fighting each other, it's people that think they're smart. And today, we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
So, more recently, we've been getting a lot of criticism, specifically about how we're mean.
Variations on the theme.
Yeah, so we're not very polite. We
Yeah.
say a lot of nasty things about people.
Yeah.
Statements that, I'm quoting someone, would you really want to stand by?
Yeah. And I feel like the main crux of the issue is just a cultural misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's... I think we may have thought that the international community would understand that in Australia it is...
I just thought they'd be a bit more accepting of our culture.
Yeah, like a bit more cultural acceptance. I think that's what it's called in the West these days.
Yeah.
And it's really not our fault, if you think about it, because we are simply a product of the school system, of the Australian legislation. I guess we should probably go into some of what that actually is.
Yeah, yeah. So for those of you that don't know, in the Australian school system, we have what is called Hate Week.
Yeah.
And it happens every 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Where we just kind of go through the class, pick out a random distinction,
And just talk about how much we hate them
like
for it.
eye color, hair
Yeah.
color, clothing style.
Yeah, anything.
We don't have uniforms at our school. It's just kind of what you can scavenge.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty tough growing up.
Yeah.
Like, you would have kids come to school in, like, cardboard boxes.
Yeah. It's like the more better your insults are, the more clothes you get to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually how it's been.
Well, that was a law passed in...
That one was quite controversial, that one. Because
Yeah.
a bunch of people got really cold in winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purely because they couldn't insult people well enough. And
Yeah. It kind of like weeds out the less confrontational kind of people.
yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people got upset by that.
Yeah. Well, I think the crux of that particular issue is because it made it more competitive towards the top, because it took out all the like the weaker members of society.
Yeah. And
Because people couldn't refer back to them all the time.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, if you just wanted to stay warm, you had to be insulting people through Hate Week.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was part of your passing grade in school.
Yeah.
I think up to about year 10, it didn't matter as much, but then like through year 11 and 12, if you didn't make at least like 5 people cry.
Yeah, I mean, that was the goal, but like it doesn't really happen after like
In a certain period of time.
around year 8. They just kind of like harden up and start being a little bitch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's well, that's kind of why the culture is the way it is today, and why like you don't really hear the same kind of like outrage or like outcry about laws being passed that you might get a $50 on the spot fine for not swearing on a train.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was quite controversial.
Yeah.
But then he got the person.
Those people kind of got yelled into submission very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
It's kind of why the law actually got passed, because in Parliament, that is like standard practice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's kind of the louder and more insulting you are is what causes laws to get passed.
Yeah. There's this kind of misconception that insulting people is an ad hominem. It's actually not.
No,
They're actually
no.
entirely disconnected things.
Well, you would think that, but it seems that there is a bit of confusion.
Yeah.
Criticizing someone's thought processes and saying that the thought process is stupid is not an ad hominem.
Yeah.
It would be an ad hominem to say something like,
all right, someone's like talking about Flow State's video and whatnot, and I'm like, I would have to say, like, I was told recently that Flow State is a convict and potentially a drug addict, and not exactly a credible source of information when it comes to his criticisms of me, not to mention that he's terribly bad at math. So take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, so that is an actual ad hominem.
yeah, that's a real one.
Yeah, it is not an ad hominem to call somebody stupid.
Yeah.
It is because stupid people can have good ideas. You're meant to respond to the ideas.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't count.
Exactly. You know, I've always wondered whatever happened to those people that couldn't insult people well enough in school. Like, you just don't hear much about them nowadays.
Well, I think they send them to like Easter Island.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a big. We just kind of put them in like plate like a cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then whip them every like month or so. So like try to like harden them up a bit.
Well, I mean, like, you got to have a rehabilitation program.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole concept of a prison. It's a rehabilitation program for people that can't insult people properly.
Well, I mean, there's other reasons to go to prison. That is the most common one, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you look at incarceration rates from like 2018, that was probably at least 56%
Yeah.
of the incarceration rates, and the other ones being things like
Murder.
murder and stuff.
Yeah.
So-
Rape, stealing stuff.
Yeah, which obviously made up like the 44%
Yeah.
of the other ones. And if you look at it, like, we are trying quite clearly, because we
are-
have, it's like, you know how you have electives
Yeah.
like in school. Well, like a class on insults is, you don't get to choose that one. It's kind of like math and English.
It's just every morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like every morning you spend about like 1 hour on it,
Yeah.
and then you can go to your other classes.
So we go to like like how to find arbitrary things and
Yeah.
insult them. That's like level 1 insults, and then like it's like the higher you get in the year is like the more fundamental part of that character that you have to kind of look
Have to
for.
insult, yeah.
Yeah. So the first one is like things like clothes, hairstyles, just kind
Yeah,
of things you
really-
don't
Things you don't need to think about to insult.
Yeah, then there's like races and then the same level.
Yeah.
And then the second one, it's like, that their parents are mistreating them in some way, or
Yeah.
that they've got like a systemic history of abuse, and therefore that their life
You can
is
insult them on that.
that their life is going to be ruined in the future.
Yeah.
That's level 2, and then it gets all the way to level 10, but we won't go into that at the moment.
No.
Yeah.
Like, you can do master degrees on this topic as well. Like, it goes far more in depth than I think the average person does study, but it is very much encouraged that, like, if you get to at least like level 5, you should probably go on to university. It's kind of like a suggestion. You should probably go on to learn more about how to insult people.
Yeah, it's actually pretty like rare to find people that are that competent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's
so-
kind of like it's very rare to find scientists.
Yeah. It's really hard to find competent like math people because the
Yeah.
human brain isn't really set up for it,
Exactly.
and it's kind of like the same deal. Anyway, so I hope
I hope we've cleared up some misunderstandings.
and I hope we shed some cultural understanding.
Yeah.
And I would be interested to hear about your culture as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all cultures are equal.
Anyway, have a nice day.
See you next time.